CoreLogic RB data reported a 0.8% increase over the month of April, so slightly down from the previous month, which was a very high 1.4, but still at 0.8, that's quite a strong result. And over the year, we've seen dwelling values rise by nearly 8%. So we're still seeing values rising, but once again, largely driven by quite a strong Sydney market. The month-on-month results were quite broad. The only city that saw a fall was Canberra. In fact, on the 12-monthly figures, the only cities that have outperformed, say, a 2.5% growth rate are Sydney and Melbourne. Brisbane was the third best performer at 2.2% over the past 12 months. Well, rental yields are a really interesting story because we're seeing across every capital city, apart from Hobart, dwelling values are rising at a faster pace than what rental rates are. Sydney's also showing the best rental growth, but it's only about 3% year on year at the moment, while values are growing by nearly 15% year on year. The best rental yields are still found in Darwin. From that cash rate cut in February, we saw clearance rates in Sydney move to new record highs. So after tracking around about 70% towards the end of 2014, they've now bounced up to beyond 80%. In fact, over the Anzac Day long weekend, we saw a record clearance rate that was nearly 90%. We're still seeing record auction clearance rates at the moment. We're seeing the time on market is still very low, 26 days on average in Sydney and about 35 days in Melbourne. And we're seeing listing numbers relatively low as well. I think probably the impediments to further growth or to growth accelerating from here are the fact that affordability is becoming quite an issue, particularly in Sydney. The median house price is now beyond $850,000. Also, we're seeing the incentives for investment are starting to evaporate, basically based on the low yield environment. And of course, we're also seeing APRA in the background now, very much pushing the macro-prudential tools to ensure that investment portfolio growth from the lending sector doesn't surpass 10%. Normally during winter we do see auction markets cool off, so we're seeing some seasonal effects I think in the auction marketplace at the moment, which are being compounded by the very low interest rate environment. So I think as we progress through into the colder months, we probably will see some softening in auction markets. But compared to, say, the same time last year and the year before that, I wouldn't be surprised if very high clearance rates persist, but probably not at the record highs we're currently seeing, which Sydney is up around the 90% mark and Melbourne in the mid to low 80% mark.